Welcome to the Butterfly Effect. I'm Chris Horner, and this is stage 2 of the Giro 2021. It's a sleeper stage. 179 kilometers, about 110 miles in total in length. 83 kilometers to go. There's a little bit of a KOM there, and that'll put a little bit of excitement in today's stage. But in general, the first part was really a sleeper. I mean, they let 3 riders go. As soon as they dropped the flag, those 3 slipped off. They get about a 5-minute lead. When I tune in at about 100K to go, they have 2.5 minute leads. So the field has really got them on a short leash. And it's all the sprinter teams back there doing the work. You have UAE Grenadiers that's near the front, but really they're not doing a whole lot of work with their team. It's really the sprinter teams back there that are doing the bulk of it. Now at 83 kilometers to go for the KOM, things get a little exciting when the 3 riders up there are really having a track stand all the way up the climb. It's only about 2 kilometers long. Small climb, but they're going slow. They're creeping up it. Everyone knows out of this break of 3 riders that whoever wins on this KOM, they're going to get the jersey, and they're all small teams. So the jersey at the end of the stage of the Giro is a great prize to have, and it already gets your team onto the TV screen and some exposure in today's race. Now it's Vincenzo Albanese that wins the sprint at the top of the hill finally after they crawl all the way up it, swinging from the left side to the right side of the road. Finally, with just under 200 meters to go, Vincenzo takes off, accelerates, and wins the sprint. Now it's a great result, and he's got the KOM at the end of the stage. What's really funny is after he wins the KOM, he gets a bike mechanical. They do a super slow wheel change there. They finally decide to give him a new bike. He takes the time to take his computer off, and it has a little leash on the computer, so if it falls off, it won't actually drop on the ground. The leash will catch it and keep it on your bike. He's even taken the time to take his leash off and hook it up to his next spare bike. So you know he has no more desire to be in the breakaway for the next 100 kilometers. He'd rather just go ahead and hang out in the back there and enjoy the next 75 kilometers to the finish. Now, with 40K to go, there's a little bit of a hiccup back there as all the sprinters, Peter Sagan, Fernando Gaviria, L.A. Viviani, they're going for what they thought was the sprint line, but it's really the 40-kilometer banner, and they sprint all the way to it, only to realize that Fernando Gaviria and Viviani see the next real sprint line that's about 200 meters down the road, and they keep punching it until they come across the line with Fernando Gaviria winning and L.A. Viviani getting second. Back there, Sagan ends up getting 4th, and he loses some points on the sprint classification. Viviani and Fernando Gaviria give themselves a little fist bump for being the smartest of the group of 4 sprinters back there to figure out that the line was a little bit further after they already sprinted for the 40-kilometer mark. With 25 kilometers to go, we're going to see Filippo Ganna racing for the time bonuses. He's not interested in the time bonuses for himself. Okay, if he gets them, great. But really what he's doing is protecting the time for Egan Bernal, his Giro GC race leader. Now, he's not a sprinter, Egan Bernal, but Filippo Ganna is. So this is a great tactic for Ineos. Send your fast guy up there to steal the points and keep time away from Remco Evenepoel, the Deceuninck Quick-Step rider. Remco Evenepoel, we saw do a great time trial yesterday. And now we're seeing him sprinting for time bonuses on today's stage. Keep that in mind because on stage 4, it's a bit of a hard finish to the line. This bonuses on today's stage might be why we see him in pink in 2 stages to come. After 25K, the racing really begins at about 15 kilometers to go, and you know because they're going curb to curb with all the teams fighting for real estate at the front. Real exciting stuff begins about 2 kilometers from the line, and you're going to see Jumbo-Visma going down the right side of the road and Team Ineos on the left. And it's Filippo Ganna, the race leader, pink jersey wearer in today's Giro, and it's Egan Bernal on his wheel. Now this really reaffirms to all of us that Egan Bernal is the real sole leader when it comes to Ineos Grenadiers. They're going down the side, and you got World Time Trial champion leading out, 2019 Tour de France champion trying to keep him safe and out of trouble. With 1.5K to go, they got the right turn, and Filippo Ganna does a great job of getting his race leader through that turn safe. After that, the group's going to have to thin out because it's lefts and right turns and chicanes all over the place. Now we come in with about 1K to go, and racing really gets exciting here at 1K to go because it's Jumbo-Visma, Bora at the front, and it's Cofidis team that's getting ready to just take over the front with about 800 meters to go. Things are exciting here around 800 meters. between 900 and 700 meters to go. Fernando Gaviria, Team UAE Emirates rider, one of the best sprinters in the world, in my book, makes 2 mistakes on today's race. This is the first mistake, and this is what they're going to be talking about at dinner tonight. Now, we'll go through there. When at 900, you'll see his teammates there, and it's Sebastian Milano that's coming up the left side. He has Max Marchese on his wheel. I was teammates with Max Marchese with Lampre back in 2014. He is one of the best lead-out guys in the business, right up there with the Deceuninck Quick-Step star lead-out man, Michael Morkov. Now, Marchese's in a perfect spot, and with Milano in front of him, and they only have about 800, 700 meters to go, this is where Fernando Gaviria made a mistake. He could have latched on and stayed on to Giacomo Nizzolo wheels, who's on Max Marchese's wheel, as they're coming up the left side. Instead, you'll see Fernando Gaviria leave Giacomo Nizzolo's wheel, which means he's leaving his team's wheel. As a racer, as a sprinter, you never leave your teammate's wheel when you know this is what these guys are paid to do. Max Marchese is paid to be a lead-out man. One of the best in the business, I already said it. Fernando Gaviria's first mistake was leaving that train and going into the middle on the Peter Sagan wheel. He goes to the right, he slots up in the middle, now he's blocked in. His 2 fantastic, best in the business, perfect lead-out men are swinging up the outside as Fernando Gaviria is getting left behind in the middle. Now, they got a chance of meeting up again, but it's not going to happen in today's race. Max Marchese realizes that his teammate's race sprint leader, Fernando Gaviria, left the wheel, and now he'll leave Milano to go up and help with the Cofidis rider on the lead-out. With 500 meters, they come out of the chicane, and it's the Cofidis rider on the front, and he's just throwing in the last 100, 150 meter dig he's got left in his legs, and he's going to leave Sebastian Milano, the UAE Team Emirates, on the front. Now, I say on the front because remember, he's on the front. At 700 meters, you had Milano, Max Marchese, Giacomo Nizzolo, and then their team sprinter, Fernando Gaviria, lined up. So, when Milano's on the front, that tells me that Fernando Gaviria had a clean line all the way to 500, 400, and 300 meters to go. But remember, he chose to go inside and follow the Sagan wheel. He'll get trapped in there next to the barriers. When Milano starts his sprint, he leaves enough of a gap between the barriers and his handlebars right behind Fernando Gaviria, and he sees the gap between his teammate Milano and the fencing, and he decides to shoot the gap. Now remember, this gap is exactly what I talked about on the butterfly effect last year when Peter Sagan was relegated to last place and lost any chance of winning the green jersey. That gap is okay. I don't mind that he's shooting that gap, but it's always going to be tight. And Milano messes it up. He moves over 1-2 inches and he puts his team sprinter into the barriers. Now, this is the difference between these barriers at the Giro 2021 and what we saw at Tour of Poland with that spectacular crash back there with Dylan Groenewegen caused. These barriers hold together. And this is what really saves any chance of Fernando Gaviria being able to win a stage later in this year's Giro. Today's race, he's got no chance. He'll bump off his teammate, he'll go straight in the barriers, but he'll hold his bike up and he'll upright it without crashing. It was spectacular to watch. Behind, though, in the left side, when Tim Merlet is just flying around Milano, he's going to punch it all the way from about 225 meters to go around the soft right bend and just hold it to the line with Giacomo Nizzolo getting second and Elia Viviani holding on for third. Fernando Gaviria and UAE Team Emirates. Tonight at their hotel, they're going to be discussing what happened between Milano and that fencing. But what I got to say is they need to talk about 800 meters. The real mistake on today's stage for Gaviria was letting his 2 teammates' wheels go and deciding to leave them in order to follow Sagan's wheel back there. That was the biggest mistake. At dinner, they're going to talk. He's going to be upset at Milano for moving right and closing the door on him against the fencing. But the real mistake started at 800 meters. Had he followed his teammate's wheel there, I think we would have been seeing Fernando Gaviria winning another Giro stage on today's race. Hope you guys like the butterfly effect today. Like and subscribe, and I look forward to 2 stages from now to see what Remco Evenepoel can do and whether or not if he can be in pink. See you guys real soon on the next Butterfly Effect.